So joining us now, we're going to have some fun here. We have Art Laffer, former Reagan economic advisor and Presidential Medal of Freedom recipient and author of Taxes Have Consequences, and Kevin Hassett, former Council of Economic Advisors chair and author of the century's most important book, at least so far. It's called The Drift. Get this, Stopping America's Slide to Socialism. My favorite book. Gentlemen, welcome on a Friday. Art Laffer, I go to you. I see the stock market breathing a sigh of relief that Joe Manchin, they're taking the over on Manchin, as I am, and there aren't going to be any more tax hikes. This whole reconciliation bill is dead in the water. In fact, we're not going to get $1 trillion of spending. We're not going to get $1 trillion of taxes on successful individuals, on small businesses, on large corporations. It's just my thought. It's a supply-side thought, interpretation of the stock market. But what do you think about that idea?
Well, I am so excited that he's not going to do it. But very seriously, he's been keeping me on pins and needles for so long, Larry. I'm exhausted, but I'm really pleased with the way he's come out. And that's just not the way. I mean, this Manchin thing is a huge success for America. And for the Democrats, by the way, and the Republicans. It's great for everyone. And Schumer should just pull the thing, and Biden should just give up. And let's get going and getting America strong again.
Joe Manchin, bless his heart, has a certain Hamlet quality to him. I will agree with that.
No, he does.
It's a certain Hamlet.
He does.
I think it was Hamlet. But
it scares me to death. I mean, I just worry.
Kevin, are you going to take the over on Manchin, or are you still on pins and needles, as Arthur is?
Well, you remember from working with me in the White House, Larry, that I'm kind of a neurotic guy, right? And so I tend to worry about what might go wrong. And the fact is that, so I was up on the Hill meeting with senior Republicans today, and they're still worried. And the other thing to keep in mind is that there's going to be like a lull in inflation in the next report because gas prices are going down a lot. And so the top line CPI next time is probably going to be like a 0.3 or a 0.4. And so Manchin might point at that and use it as an excuse to sign off on the tax hikes. The final thing to say is that we are clearly in a recession. You know, I've been saying it for months, but it's clear with the industrial production and the negative GDP now. And the fact that we're Joe Manchin away from having tax hikes in a recession just shows how economically illiterate and destructive these people are. I just can't believe, like, everybody could look at the data and say, geez, it's not a good time for a tax hike, and yet we're Joe Manchin away from having a really, really destructive economic policy at exactly the worst time.
Well, that's the point. I understand that.
That's true.
I probably have more confidence in him than some other people do. I know him pretty well, but I acknowledge the risk. But, Kevin, I don't think, you know, the core inflation rate is actually creeping up, excluding food and energy. And you've got things like that Cleveland Federal Reserve tracker where they take the top 8% and the bottom 8% out, and that, you know, the rest of the 80%, the bulk of prices are rising now at 7%. In other words, I think the weight of the evidence is still going to be pretty bad. And anyway, you know what? I think Joe Manchin knows exactly what he's doing. He knows that Schumer wants the August recess to begin August 5th, and you're not going to get any of these numbers until the week after and the week after that. I might be wrong. Lord knows I could easily be wrong, but I don't think so. Arthur, do you think we are in a recession yourself? Kevin does. I think we're at least in the front end. What say you?
Well, the definition of a recession is 2 quarters down. That's the traditional definition. Now, they all have all this add-on stuff, but bottom line, we've had the first quarter was way down, and the estimates of this quarter, that's already closed, by the way, it's down way down too. So, yes, we're in the midst of a recession, and it started quite a while ago, Larry. I mean, the downturn started in December of last year, and it's been going, and we've now got 2 quarters down, which I would say is traditionally the definition of a recession. But I want to ask both of you, Kristen Sinema, I haven't heard anyone mention her. I thought she was really opposed to the tax increases as well.
I think she is. I don't know what Kevin thinks. I think she is. She's taken a low profile.
In fact, people were talking about that today on the Hill, about how she's also someone who's not.
So it's not just Manchin. It's not just.
She's more reliable on the taxes, I think, than perhaps Joe is. All right. I mean, I think, you know, Joe is.
But so it's not just Joe.
It's not just Joe. There may be some closet people, too.
Good.
And there may be a rump caucus in the House, although in the Democratic Party, but I wouldn't count on that. But can I, just on this point about recession, gentlemen, if Joe Biden were here, he would say two things, Kevin Hassett. He would say, number one, look at all this job creation. How can these crazy Republicans think we're in a recession? And number two, as he did say, and he's still saying in Saudi Arabia, or wherever he may be at this particular moment, you know, this inflation problem is all behind us. In fact, I think he used the word transitory again. I hadn't heard that word in a while. I missed it so much. But he would say, look at all this job creation, and this inflation is yesterday's news, Kevin Hassett.
Right, but right after that, he would say, repeat the line, right? So the problem with that, with what Joe Biden's saying, is that transitory's been going on for a long time, transitory, right? But you know, Art taught us both a long time ago to study history, and one of the things I think the Laffer curve obviously came from studying actual data and history, and of course a little bit of theory. But the point is, if you look at it, you know, this idea that the labor market is strong and so it can't really be recession, or the Wall Street Journal, there was this really silly article about how it's going to be a different kind of recession because the labor market's strong. If you go back and look at the start of just about every recession, initial claims for unemployment insurance were at about 250, steady at 250, and then they got worse. But 250 is basically what you look for in the labor market for a recession signal, and initial claims in the last 6 weeks have gone from 200 to 244. And so the initial claims are actually looking exactly like a recession signal as well, and so we know that inflation's not transitory, and we also know that the labor market is now starting to signal recession along with every other piece of data.
Arthur, in your honor, we have your chart, which I saw in the Unleashed Prosperity Bulletin today, of the Fed's balance sheet, all the cash, they bought the bonds. And really, when you look at that thing, they're still close to $9 trillion. They haven't really brought any of that excess cash down. Now, the reason I'm raising that is, while I know gasoline prices will bring down the top-line CPI next month, the fact is, how certain can we be that the monetary part of the inflation, which is the biggest part, I think, or anyway, is over? I mean, they hadn't really done anything. They're just starting to let a few things run off. They still own all those mortgages, and they still own all those treasuries. So what's up with that?
Yeah, well, let me, if I can, just comment on a couple of things. Last month's labor report, you know, the 375,000 jobs establishment survey, if you look at the household survey, which is also a component of that, it was down 300,000. So we have very conflicting evidence with regard to the labor market. And to Kevin's point of the next monthly number being down fairly substantially, do remember there's a number being dropped off the index as well 12 months ago, and that number is very low as well. So we're starting with a period where the numbers being dropped off the measure are very low, which gives it a real upward bias. And I can quote Kevin here, where he said you really have to look at the rate of change, and I look at the quarterly rate of change of inflation and the yearly, and the quarterly is always above the yearly, which is a sign of increasing inflation, not declining or capping or topping out inflation. So
in terms of your own chart, we can put it back up on the full screen. Don't you think they got more work to do on that side? I mean, it's not so much pegging interest rates. They got to get rid of the excess cash. It's the excess cash that they used to buy all the bonds from the deficit spending of the unnecessary Democratic rescue package. That's the principal cause of the inflation, or one of them.
It's scary. It's very scary. I mean, it's gone up fourfold, Larry. I mean, not just 10%, 7%, 9%. It's gone up 300% increase. And that's huge. I mean, it's just enormous, and I don't know what they can do about this. It's already out. What can they do? They've got to let interest rates, stop trying to control interest rates, and let interest rates seek their own level. And only in this way, Larry, can they have money tight enough so that with tight money and tax cuts, we can have an increase in the supply of goods and services and a reduction in the quantity of money. And those two together are the only way I know of topping out on inflation and bringing it down. It just doesn't happen otherwise.
Kevin, give you the last word, last 30 seconds. How long is this going to take? The Fed's inflation target is 2%. They are nowhere near it. And even if gasoline prices bring the top line CPI down next month, they're still not going to be anywhere near it. How long is this going to take, Kevin?
We're not going to be below 5 until, say, 2025. Okay,
Wow.
this is once inflation gets out of the bag like this, that it's really hard to bring down. You can do it, as Art said, and as you've said, with supply side policies, but we've got the sort of opposite, right? They're threatening tax hikes, and we're not going to get supply side policies until after 2024 election, I would guess. And so therefore the Fed's going to work on its own, and it's going to go way too slow. You know, the history of inflation is it goes down when the interest rate is higher than the inflation rate, and look at what the inflation rate is right now. And so they got a lot of work to do, and they're not going to do it. And so inflation is going to stay high.
I tend to agree with you, buddy. I don't think that these financial markets have that yet discounted, to be perfectly honest. So that's food for thought for the next segment. Arthur Laffer, fabulous. Kevin Hassett, fabulous. You both have a great weekend. Thanks for helping us on a Friday.